Must win Game 2 of the Cape Cod League Championship Series. Comes to you here from White House Field in Harwich. The Bourne Braves trying to avenge last night's loss for a 5:30 first pitch. Welcome into Pregame Tomahawk Talk. I'm Adam Gotkin alongside Nathan Schwartz and Cam Manna. And Nathan, last night's loss, a rough one overall for the Bravos. A lot of mistakes that we really haven't seen since the beginning of the season.
A lot of mistakes, a lot of coming out flat. And there just was that missing energy both in the dugout and from the fan base because nothing was happening in the beginning of that game. But now Bourne is in a spot that they're familiar in. They're 3-0 in elimination games this summer, 9-1 in the last 4 years. So if there's any team that would want their backs up against the wall, it's Bourne.
And the Bravos will go with Tristan on the mound, a guy who has not started yet this summer. But Cam, last season he started in the biggest game of the year against Orleans in the playoffs.
And if there's any pitcher that you want, it's Tristan. This is his third playoff appearance against the Braves going back to last year. He was relied on in an elimination game at Orleans in front of 8,000 fans, and he delivered for the Braves. It'll be his second appearance here for Bourne, but was in with the Mystic squad in the NECBL and had a 1.84 ERA. So a fantastic summer for him. He's ready for the moment, brings a lot of energy, and in big games like this, you want dogs on the mound, and Tristan a dog.
So the Bravos hoping that Levesque can have a big outing today, and also Bourne looking for some players in the lineup to really step up today as well.
I think the big one to look out for is Chris Stanfield, who's up from that 9 spot to the 5th spot in the order. When he won the Cape League Player of the Week a couple of weeks ago, it was when he was in that 5th spot, and that seems like where he seems most comfortable right now in this batting order. And then you have Tristian Bissetta, Blake Barthel at the 8-9 spot. Those are two guys that could be hitting 4-5 in this order, but they're down in the bottom 2, and they could do a great job of flipping this lineup order.
Remember, Stanfield hit that big home run at Hyannis in the playing game. He's been playing pretty well recently, so we'll see what he can do moving up in the order. Well, pregame Tomahawk Talk rolls on. First pitch coming up soon at 5:30. Adam Gotkin now joined by Tristian Bissetta out of Clemson on pregame Tomahawk Talk ahead of Bourne taking on Harwich. Tristan, you guys lost last night in a tough one. How do you guys try and bounce back, rebound here for game 2?
We just pretty much try and stay to what's been making us successful, the last 10 games or so. Just sticking to our process, trying to play clean baseball, good pitching, fundamental defense, and get timely hits.
That, of course, all sounds like kind of easy stuff, but it's not easy in the actual moment. What do you guys try and do in the dugout to try and make sure that everything, once you get on the field, is easiest as possible?
I think just staying on our own teammates is a big thing, keeping everybody encouraged and just, working towards that one goal and winning.
I know you're one of the guys who joined this team a little bit later, but when you're in the dugout, when you're with so many guys who have been here throughout the entire season, how do you think that's kind of helped the chemistry to this point in the year?
I think that just summer ball is a great time to meet new guys from around the country, and I feel like this team's got pretty good chemistry and, a lot of guys with different personalities, but all good, and they all mesh well. So I think this team likes to have fun, and I think that's a big reason why we've gotten this far.
What's this series been like so far? I know this is only game 2, but last night with the crowd at Dorn Park here, we're still an hour until the game starts, and there's a bunch of people here. Just this Cape League Championship Series environment, what's it been like?
Yeah, it's pretty cool, especially for a summer league to be packed out like this. I know it means a lot to the locals, and but I think, we're all pretty used to it, and it's fun that we get to play in an environment that's competitive and important to a lot of people.
All right, well, thank you very much, Tristan. Adam Gotkin here with Sean Brennan on pregame Tomahawk Talk ahead of Bourne taking on Harwich in Game 2 of the Cape League Championship Series. Sean, today Harwich goes with a guy out of Kansas State and Andrew Evans on the mound, who has had a lot of struggles so far this season.
Yeah, in 8 games, 3 starts, 23 innings, he has a 6.65 ERA. Now, his strikeouts to walk is pretty good, 20-8, so not issues with control, but he does get hit kind of hard. So in his last outing on the 3rd, he was tagged for 9 hits in about 4 innings against Chatham. So this is an opportunity for Bourne, who was hitting it well yesterday, but couldn't quite convert with runners in scoring position, to get on top of him early and really assert themselves when they need to.
You said it there, Bourne had struggles hitting with runners in scoring position yesterday. For Harwich, that was also the case, but they got enough done and they scored enough runs where it didn't even really matter.
Right, they went 4 for 13 overall, but they got it done when it mattered in that 5th inning. They scored 5 runs on 5 hits, tagged Cameron Paget there. He stayed in the game, but that's still, when you're looking at the vibes in the field, it definitely made that game feel like it was out of reach. So, we'll see what they can do today, but Bourne definitely has to figure out their struggles with runners in scoring position, and Harwich, they also might struggle, but they make it matter when it matters most.
And at this point, we got to remember that this is a Mariners squad that has now won 4 playoff games in a row. So while they may have had a couple very long losing streaks during the season and barely sneaked into the playoffs, it's a team that you cannot at all take lightly right now.
No, and we had a very similar conversation yesterday, but it's even more true now, right? They come into Dorn Park. It was a packed house. The vibes were high, and they just won from the get-go. You could tell they were going to win that game from the first inning on. Not saying Bourne took Harwich lightly, but now everybody knows Harwich is here. They haven't lost in the playoffs. They swept the #1 team in the league, so they're here. Them winning is a very real possibility, and Bourne's going to have to bring their A game.
Well, first pitch coming up at 5:30, win or go home for the Bravos. You don't want to go anywhere.